Eleanor of Castile was born in 1241, the daughter of King Alonso of Castile. In 1254, when she was just 13 years old, King Alonso arranged with King Henry III of England that she should marry Henry's oldest son, Edward, who on the death of his father in 1272 became King Edward I. The marriage was a long and happy one. They were a very close couple, and Eleanor travelled extensively with her husband. In the 36 years of marriage, she bore him at least 14 children, maybe more. When she died in 1290, they were travelling through northern England, and she died in the village of Harby, which was near Lincoln. Her body was taken to Lincoln Cathedral, where she was embalmed, and her entrails were buried in the cathedral, where they still lie. On one of the exterior walls of Lincoln Cathedral are the statues which purport to be of Edward I and Eleanor of Castile. As I said, they were a devoted couple, and Edward was very deeply affected by her death. He displayed his grief by erecting 12 so-called Eleanor crosses. These were built in the various towns where the funeral procession stopped on its route from Lincoln Cathedral to Westminster Abbey, where the rest of the body of Queen Eleanor was eventually buried. Of the 12 original crosses, only 3 remain. The best preserved is at Geddington near Northampton. And this is also unusual because it is the only cross which was made in a triangular shape. Most of the crosses were built within the first 2 years after Eleanor's death. This one at Hardingstone near Northampton was built around 1291, quite shortly after the death of the Queen. In a number of towns where the crosses no longer exist, plaques have been made to show where they did stand. This one is in St Albans. From St Albans, the procession stopped at Waltham Cross, where the final original cross is still to be seen. And from there, the procession moved down to Charing Cross in London. The original Charing Cross stood at the top of what is now Whitehall, on the south side of what is now Trafalgar Square. It was taken down by order of Parliament in 1643 during the British Civil War. It was eventually demolished in 1647. After the restoration of the monarchy, King Charles II had an equestrian statue of his father, Charles I, erected on the site of the cross. When the railways came to London and a new station was being built at Charing Cross in 1865, the railway company commissioned Edward Barry, the son of Sir Charles Barry, who had designed the Houses of Parliament, to design and build a grand hotel at Charing Cross railway station. He was also asked to reimagine Edward's original Eleanor Cross and design one to place in front of the station. This still stands there today and is, of course, is regarded as the official centre of London, In legislation, and when measuring distances from London, it's distance from the Eleanor Cross. There is a romantic, but probably apocryphal story that the origin of the word charing is the French phrase chère reine, meaning dear queen. Since Edward arranged for these Eleanor crosses to be built at the end of the 13th century, their influence as a memorial has endured, and many monuments throughout the years have used them as their inspiration. The most famous of these is probably the Albert Memorial, designed by George Gilbert Scott in 1872 for Queen Victoria in memory of her husband. This is one of the most impressive memorials in London today, and it stands opposite the Albert Hall in Kensington. I hope you'll join me again to see where my random thoughts take me next. Goodbye for now.